If you got your driver's license last week, you'll want to read this book. So today, as the title suggests, I'm going to be showing you sour songs as books. So maybe if you like these songs, might like the book. Inspired things. The last video I did with this was One Direction, and I feel like let's just keep it rolling. If you haven't heard of Sour, it is by Olivia Rodrigo. If you haven't heard of it, you've been living under a rock. And I was like, this is fun and trendy. Let's make it related to books, because like, why not combine many of the great things in life? I'm gonna be showing you, how many are there? I think there's 11 songs, and I have 11 books that I'm gonna talk about. You'll see how it goes. Okay, alrighty, so we're gonna go in order because that is how I wrote my list. First off is Brutal. This is one of my favorite tracks. It's great. I don't even know how to explain what I'm doing right now. So if you like Brutal, I think you guys would like to read Loveless by Alice Oseman. This is about an Arrow and Ace main character. It is about her discovering that, but it's also just kind of a great bridge book, I think, between high school and college. She is starting her first year at university. This is British, so better than listening to me talk, that's for sure. This, I just felt really connected. I mean, Brutal is this, you know, teenage angst anthem, and I felt like, you know, give you a good, you know, older YA to new adult, relatable book, relatable main character, and that's what I feel like it's like. So the next song on the album is Traitor. Hashtag cheaters don't deserve rights. I couldn't think of a book exactly that had cheating, because honestly those just like are major red flags like in my life. They are, so like in books like even more so. Usually cut it out, cut all ties, get rid of it, burn it in a fire. But I kind of, you know, there's a lot of vibes with like not great relationships, so I decided to show you or recommend that you read, I don't know what this video is, The Flat Chair by Beth O'Leary. This is one of my favorite romances, so obviously it is a romance blossoming out of that, so that's not really related to the song at all. But we do have a main character who has dealt with an unbelievably abusive and toxic relationship. No, I don't believe there is no cheating. Obviously it has those heavier topics. It's told in dual POVs. There's a lot of other things to love about this other than that slight relation, I guess. It has some really quirky, really eccentric main characters. I really love the dynamics and the friendships and the relationships in this book, and I just think it's a really good one, especially if you want to just, you know, beat up some ex, like how I want to do all the time. Next up is Driver's License. Now, if you got your driver's license last week, I would recommend you read Starry Eyes by Jen Bennett. This is great. I don't know what to me felt like that driver's license energy. Maybe it's the purple cover, who knows, but we do have these two people who used to be best friends, and now they have gone a very long time without talking to one another, and they're kind of forced together. One of my favorite tropes is that kind of forced proximity. I felt like that, you know, separation, that, you know, distance between two characters was very similar to Driver's License, you know, just like we always talked about. I could keep quoting the thing and make me seem like an entire millennial, but I'm not going to. Or I could sing it, but like, you're not here for either of those things. If you got your driver's license last week, you'll want to read this book. Next up is One Step Forward, Three Steps Back. Every time I read these titles, I want to sing, but I know that it's not going to translate. I do so much better with auto-tune. For this prompt, I felt like Only Mostly Devastated was the best, closest resembling book that I had in my possession that I've read. What can I tell you about this book? It's a queer Grease retelling. So if you've seen Grease, I mean, you're already gonna know kind of the plot going into it, or at least the baseline of it. So we do have two characters who, you know, had this summer thing, and then they get back, there's issues, you know? And so I felt like that one step forward, three steps back kind of vibe going on with the relationship. There's obviously more to it than that. I think it's a really great retelling or reimagining of Grease. So basically Grease is just my recommendation for that one. So if you get deja vu, or you think someone else does, I think you should read You Massamesque. This is a lot. Kind of really hard to explain it. When I read this, I honestly had no idea what I had just read. So we have a very intense revenge plot going on with a little bit of a fantastical magical element, but it's a lot more sinister than that, because it's kind of posing that question of like, what could you do if you like literally could do anything? It's a lot darker than, you know, Puppies and Rainbows. So I felt like this one just related that. Obviously, since I said there's a revenge plot, there is a mention of a previous sexual assault, so tread with caution if that in any ways could trigger you, but that is kind of the revenge kind of feeling that you get with that one. Next up, we have another one of my faves, Good For You. If you're not happy or healthy, I would recommend you read Unpregnant. Like, you know already what it's about by reading the title. We have a road trip kind of adventure almost story about a main character who ends up pregnant by some, you know, not great person, decides that she's going to have an abortion. So obviously it deals with that, and it deals with this absolute, try to refrain myself from using profanity here, you can just imagine, and it is this reconnecting of a friendship and obviously this big thing of, you know, she has to literally travel far away to make a choice about her own body, which is kind of fun. This reminded me of that because it's like, honestly, like, good for you, you're doing great, but like, did you even like care to mention like how you left me? Next is Enough for You. This one reminded me of 10 Blind Dates. I cannot come up with a quirky little line that I remember from the song, but this is a Christmas story. A little mistletoe going on the cover, but this starts with a breakup, and a very public one at that. We have our main character walking in on her boyfriend literally like telling some guy that like he's gonna break up with her or something like that. It does have 10 blind dates going on. It's the title, her going on lots of dates with people, and it has a best friends, two lovers, or romance as well. But honestly, Enough for You, someday I'll find someone who I am enough for. That's not the line, it's definitely more poetic than that, but I can't remember it at the present moment. The one that started it all is I was thinking about, or actually I was reading this next book, and they mentioned the title of this song, and I was like, oh my gosh, like things connected in my brain. For Happier, I said People We Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry. This is an adult book. I tried to pick more YA just because obviously it is a teen angst like anthem. That's the entire album to me. We have this really strong friendship that disbanded for some unknown reason. You don't really find out until like the end. You kind of have these flashbacks of every summer that they were spending time together, kind of learn about this relationship as they are actually trying to reconnect, or in some ways. So I really like resonated with this song because these two people were such like important people in each other's lives, and after not talking for I think it's 2 years, they try to, you know, live as best as they can, but they realize that essentially that they can't do it without each other. So to me that felt like, I hope you're happy, but like not happier. For Jealousy, Jealousy. This is, I mean, I think it's the bridge where it's like your friends are so cool, they go out every night, you're living life. And to me, I kind of felt like Holding Up the Universe by Jennifer Niven was a similar vibe. So we have a plus size main character, and to me, I felt like she kind of had all these pressures that the song is talking about. I mean, obviously like just normal teenagehood pressures, but we do have a plus size main character, and she is getting absolutely torn to shreds by everyone, is just trying to live her best life. Favorite crime. Favorite crime. Lots of bad things it brings to mind, so I went with This Will Be Funny Someday by Katie Henry. Another recent read. It does feature a very, very toxic, very abusive, that is talked about a lot. Again, tread with caution. I do like to give trigger warnings. This, to me, like literally favorite crime, like, ugh, like, gives you that like feeling of so agitated, so unbelievably pissed and empathetic towards this main character. She's dealing with a lot, and just really feel for her, and that's kind of how I felt. Anyways, lastly, we have Hope You're Okay. This is probably the most different out of tracks in the song, at least in my opinion, or thematically at least, I think. And I decided to go with that one for autobiography. I messed up like the order of those words. Autobiography is a story about this guy who moves to this predominantly Mormon town. He's gay, he's thrown back into the closet by being in this non-accepting environment, and he does come to have this relationship with a guy who has not come out and who is heavily religious, and so beautiful as a love story in itself. Also just very, very heartbreaking. I don't even want to say sweet, but like they're such characters that you get so attached to them and so close to them that it's just like at the end of the day you're just like, I hope my babies are okay, like I really hope you're okay. So that's how I felt with that one. Those are those books. This was just as chaotic as I thought it was going to be, so I'm really glad you stuck it out. Let me know what your favorite song off Sour is. My favorite is Sour, obviously. I could go into depth about an analysis of the songs, but I do try to not ramble. I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, do all the things, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.